Hello and welcome to the second lesson. This time we'll talk about the references we're going to have for our course. We'll look for some Victorian era inspiration. Are you ready? The Victorian era, or Victorian time, was a period when Great Britain became a fully industrialized country, after being known for the agriculture. This period covers the duration of Victoria's reign, from 1837 till 1901. But the industry wasn't the only thing that changed in that time. This era brought many transformations, a social revolution and the railroad development. This time was well focused on its queen, the Queen Victoria. The British Empire, in that moment, the 19th century, had to undergo major changes, and that was when the Queen Victoria ascended the throne. Well, we're going to find paintings and photographs of that time. As you can see, these pictures show how Victorian people didn't want to look too serious or quiet when being shot. On Wikipedia, we can see the timeline of the Victorian era. Well, you can also look for more information in other websites, but you'll find more or less the same information. Great Britain, in that time, the 19th century, was considered the great power, and mostly because of its colonies. The British imperialism allowed the country be wealthy in many aspects. It was the largest empire in history. Well, moving on, if we look for aesthetics of the Victorian time, we'll find elements such as embroidery or Baroque patterns on clothes. We also find lots of accessories, and not only on dresses, but as part of hairstyles too. Even for men, if we type Victorian era suits, we'll notice a huge step when speaking of the style of that time. It's something essential for the Victorian era. The transition of the century gave us many changes in fashion. We can see that in museums and exhibitions of costumes of that time. And surprisingly, they have even reappeared in our time. We need to know how was the hairstyle and fashion of this period. There are a lot of pictures, as you can see. And we're going to jump into Pinterest to look for more reference to work on the concepts and the time period. Let's see. For example, this one, it's pretty awesome. It's a compilation of different hairstyles, corsets, and shoes of that era. Here we have another one very similar. It's like the previous one, but with hairstyles and portraits. This era was also known for the beginning of photography, so it's usual to see breathtaking long dresses full of details. We also find male examples of that time, pictures where they were hunting or with animals. Now we're going to save the pictures we like the most. I'm picking the more symbolic dresses and costumes to understand every detail and capture that on our design. This one is the same example as the female picture we saved. A compilation of different hairstyles and mustache that men had in that time. There are lots of examples we can use for inspiration for our work. Our final project would be a Victorian character, either a woman or a man, using the bases we'll see in the following lessons, where we'll compile as much information about that time as possible to apply it to the design. Therefore, you can look for different hairstyles and try whatever you think fits. These kind of things, like this picture. It's really cool. And create a new folder and simply save all the pictures you find more interesting. That would serve as references and inspiration in case we need to check them afterwards. Obviously, we cannot learn this by heart, so we can have a look at our reference images whenever we need. I'm going to save this picture too because of the shoes. Well, see you in the next lesson. Bye!